The 2019 Premier League hockey season is over. Some incredible highlights from the 20-round regular season and a spectacular final series made this year particularly memorable, proving that the Premier League is once again one of the premium club competitions in Australia for skill, entertainment and excitement. We have a mammoth amount of work to get through here in the final wrap, including announcing the winners of the fan-voted goals and saves of the year and naming the prestigious, highly coveted All-Star Teams of the Year and Premier League Players of the Year. But first we want to acknowledge the winners of the Association Awards held in September, so congratulations to Men's Umpire of the Year Travis Creswell, Women's Umpire of the Year Brodie Foster, Ashley Arthur from Northwest Grads for winning her third consecutive Women's Leading Goal Scorer Award, Sam McCambridge from OHA for winning his fifth consecutive Men's Leading Goal Scorer Award and sixth overall, Louisa Jacobson from Northwest Grads for winning the Women's Association Best and Fairest Award based on umpires' votes, and Nick Leslie from OHA and Sam McCulloch from Canterbury for jointly winning the Men's Association Best and Fairest Award. The Premier League women's season was the most competitive and unpredictable it's been in recent memory. Despite some clear favourites emerging early on, every team had a genuine claim to a finals berth right up until the final few rounds, and there were no easy games for anyone week to week. University started the year brightly, continuing from where they left off after a brilliant 2017, floating between second and fourth position on the ladder for the first half of the season. But they slipped away over the second half with some agonisingly close losses and draws, which meant that they ended the season on the bottom of the ladder to claim the wooden spoon. Where it went wrong for them? Too many drawn matches. They gave away a potential 12 extra points, which would have put them back in the top 4, by not being able to win the close matches. They also couldn't score enough goals, with last year's leading goal scorers Kath Webster and Alex Irwin unable to hit the net consistently like they did in 2017. Where it went right though is that they remained competitive throughout, were still hard to beat and had Maddie Hinton establish herself as a star of the competition. They have a strong squad that can bounce back immediately, especially with one or two off-season player additions. Leading goal scorers were Maddie Hinton and Lillian McPheeter with 3 each, and their best players were Hinton, Vanessa McDonald and Helen Rackham. In similar fashion, Canterbury were a team who made a preliminary final in 2017 and slipped away to finish 5th this year. They had a slow start to the season and were actually dead last at the halfway point of the year, but stayed in touch with the top 4 and had an impressive revival of form late that saw them come close to stealing a spot in the finals. Where it went wrong was some crucial close losses that made the gap too wide to overcome even when they were playing well late in the season. That, with the lack of squad depth and inconsistent availability of some of their best players, made it a tough ask week to week for the Lions to field their strongest possible side. Plenty went right though, with the successful return from injury of Lisa Yodich and the emergence of some really talented young players such as Madison Curtis, Isabel Sharman and Amy Chamberlain, who all stepped up this year. Their leading goal scorer was Chamberlain, who scored 8, and their best players were Curtis, Yodich and Christy Lucas. Diamondbacks had an incredibly difficult start to the year. They lost 2017 All-Star Player of the Year Pippa Lewis over the off-season, as well as star goalkeeper Ruby Rose Haywood, and Isabel Goldsmith was only available for a handful of matches. They also lost coach Sarah Birch, stepping away for personal reasons after the opening few rounds, with Rowan Bridley stepping into her considerable shoes to guide the team through the rest of the year. They were last after 8 rounds and looked unable to mount a serious challenge after back-to-back grand final appearances. But over the following 12 matches they went on a brilliant run, losing just 3 times to lift themselves to a 3rd placed finish at the end of the regular season. However, they were knocked out in the elimination final by Derwent after a dramatic shootout. Where it went wrong for them was losing their squad depth over the off-season and the drop in form from some of their second-tier players. It took them too long to find their groove, and that meant that, despite an amazing finish to the regular season, they couldn't muster a sustained challenge in the finals and had no second chances. Where it went right was showing that their best is still good enough, and their second half of the year was exceptional from the players and the coaches. Their leading goal scorer was Nicole Jeeves with 6 goals, and their best players were Jeeves, Phillida Bridley and Emily Donovan. The young Derwent squad took another step forward in their development, putting together a strong and consistent season that saw them secure a 4th place finish on the ladder and win their elimination final against Diamondbacks, getting knocked out by eventual premiers Northwest in a tough preliminary final. The likes of Java Vickery, Lucy Eade, Lauren Canning, Louise Maddock and Sophie Rockefeller all had impressive seasons and showed that their squad will have a strong core for a long time should they all stay together and continue to grow, and the team used both skill and speed at times to excite the crowds. Not much went wrong, with a preliminary final loss probably above season expectations, but their squad depth was seriously tested at times when multiple players were away at the same time at multiple times throughout the year, and they're still missing a middle tier in their squad, with the bulk of their starting lineup either under 21 or over 30. A lot went right though, with their young brigades stepping up and their stars performing well. Their leading goal scorer was Molly Hayes with 10, and their best players were Sarah Robinson, Sophie Rockefeller and Jessica Tremaine. The fairy tale story of the year was OHA's transformation from 2017 wooden spooners to 2018 beaten grand finalists. No one doubted that the ships would bounce back quickly, but under new coaches, siblings Sarah McCambridge and Sam McCambridge, they took the competition by storm and were strong contenders for the premiership all throughout the year. They finished second on the ladder, had a stirring semi-final victory over Northwest to progress directly through to the grand final before losing to the Bulldogs on the final day. Out of 22 games, they suffered just 5 defeats and played aggressive, attacking hockey for the most part. Where it went wrong was they just couldn't get into the game on grand final day. Everything they tried fell short, and their young emerging stars just didn't have the big game experience to deal with the enormous pressure of a grand final. Of course, making it to a grand final is a great way to get that experience, and the young stars will come back in 2019 bigger and better for having gone through it. Their leading goal scorer was Sophie McLeod with 9, who had a fantastic season in her return to the Premier League, with Julia Gunn just 1 behind her with 8 goals. Their best players were the trio of experienced superstars McLeod, McCambridge and Jean Flanagan. The premiers in 2018 were Northwest grads, who had an incredibly dominant year, going through the regular season undefeated and winning the grand final with an impressive performance. This was their 3rd consecutive premiership, and it firmly establishes them as arguably the greatest side in the past decade. Their coaching team of Simon Arthur, Chris Hazelwood and Michael Gregory produced something close to perfection in 2018. The Bulldogs were aggressive, attacking, disciplined and highly skilled. Their defence conceded just 9 goals in the regular season, and they controlled the grand final against OHA from start to finish. The only blight was the semi-final loss, which forced them to win a preliminary final against Derwent to get a shot at the premiership. But as has been noted, this is the exact path they've now taken in the past 3 seasons, and it seems to be just what they need to do. Basically though, everything went right, from the addition of Grace Calvert to their midfield, the promotion of younger players to senior roles in the team, and the performances of their experienced players and their second tier players. Everyone did their part and it paid off handsomely. Their leading goal scorer was, of course, Ashley Arthur with 15, while their best players were Calvert, Rayleigh Phillips and Louisa Jacobson. The men's Premier League season quickly went from a 4-horse race to a 5-horse race, with the emergence of Canterbury as a real force. The pre-season favourites never really established themselves, and the teams expected to drop away stayed strong, which made for a thrilling final few regular season rounds and an incredible finals series. Diamondbacks were the outlier though. They finished dead last with just a solitary point from their 20 games and a goal difference of -76. It was a brutal season. They were without 2017 All-Star Goalkeeper of the Year Grant Woodcock and 2017 All-Star Player of the Year Jack Welch, and again struggled to field a consistent starting 11 each week. Where it went wrong for them was in not having a competitive squad nor a roster of players who would turn up every week. It's no coincidence that the team with the poorest attendance and availability finished so far behind the rest of the competition. When they did have their best team on the pitch, they looked competitive, but it wasn't enough to mount any sort of challenge. What went right was they were able to get game time into their bevy of young development players. They have a strong future ahead of them, it's just still years away. Alex Beswick had a great season in goals with some incredible saves, but just had too much to contend with. Likewise, Richard Shelverton, who captained the side and missed just one game, had a consistent year. Their leading goalscorer was Australian under-21 representative Hayden Belts with 7, while their best players were Belts, Shelverton and Douglas Shepherd. Canterbury bounced back from their wooden spoon last year to finish 5th. They had a strong middle part of the season, which saw them climb up into the top 4 for a little while, but fell apart late in the year to miss out on finals. Under new coach David Budgeon, they were competitive in just about every game, which really made the rest of the competition take notice. Where it went wrong? 5 times they lost by a single goal against finals-bound opponents. Had 1 or 2 of those results broken their way, the Lions could well have secured a top 4 finish. Where it went right? A couple of smart additions to their squad helped bolster their experience, taking the pressure off their host of young developing stars. Youngsters James Sexton, Alex Hogan-Jones, Benjamin East and Sean Redman all stepped up and provided some great highlights throughout the year, and all look ready to take the next step in 2019, which makes Canterbury a side to watch should they keep the majority of their squad intact. Their leading goalscorer was Sam McCulloch, who had an exceptional season and scored 17 goals, while their best players were Craig Donovan, McCulloch and Ian McHugh. Derwent surprised many by being right up there for the entirety of the season. Expected to slip away, the addition of several solid contributors to their squad made them super competitive, and even saw them sitting on top of the ladder for a number of weeks. A couple of losses in the final rounds eventually knocked them out of the top 2 though, finishing 3rd at the end of the regular season before being knocked out yet again in an elimination final. It's hard to say where it went wrong, as it was an impressive season all up, but the muted contributions from superstars Vaughan Bowen and Angus Bolton left them lacking true top-end talent, and losing in another elimination final highlighted the importance of needing match winners fit and firing to succeed. Where it went right was in finding a way to be competitive and win during the regular season against everyone. Tom Broadby, Keegan Poposhki and James Clifford all had excellent first seasons with the club, while veteran Tyron Bester recaptured some of his old magic, especially in the first half of the season. They also had a very even spread of goal scorers. Their leading goal scorers were James Clifford with 9 and Poposhki with 8, while their best players were Broadby, Bowen and the returned Travis Creswell. Northwest grads started the season as premiership favourites and looked good for it all throughout the regular season, but despite comfortably winning their final 5 games, looked like they were struggling to shift up a gear for finals. This played out too, as they were bundled out of the race in straight sets, losing the semi-final and then the preliminary final to miss out on having a chance at the cup in the grand final altogether. Where it went wrong was bungling the handling of their goalkeepers. New Zealand international Hamish McGregor arrived mid-season to replace long-term keeper Brendan Lowe, but almost immediately snapped his Achilles, leaving Tasmanian under-21 goalie Daniel Harper to take over for the remainder of the season. Harper did an exceptional job, but it left their defence very young and exposed. Where it went right was having one of the brightest and most consistent starting 11s. They had established or emerging stars across every line, with experience up forward and through the midfield, and exciting young stars like Goulburn Gill, Harvey Bessel and Aidan Van Staden all having eye-catching seasons. Their leading goal scorers were Jai Walker-Kidd with 23 and Oliver Arnold with 18, and their best players were Arnold, James Burke and Alistair White. University were our pick pre-season to make a splash in 2018 and challenge for a top 2 finish and have a shot at the title. However, by round 10 they sat in 5th place and looked likely to struggle just to qualify for the finals. A stronger second half to the season saw them eventually finish 4th on the ladder, from which they launched an extraordinary assault on the title to take the competition by storm, knocking out Derwent and Northwest before pushing OHA all the way in a thrilling grand final. It all looked wrong during the first half of the season. The students looked disjointed and over-reliant on 2017 All-Star captain Ben Reid to get them over the line. Paul Anka, James Dick and Jaden Pearson all looked like shadows of their former selves, dragging the team down at times while their younger players couldn't get involved in the play and had no impact. It started to go right around the time of their round 15 win over Northwest. Anka, Dick and Pearson started to find some form, but more importantly, a change in tactics allowed their younger players to contribute more each week, and allowing players like Josh Brooks and Tyler McDonald to shoulder some responsibility and get involved transformed the way the team played and the shape of their season. Their leading goal scorer was, of course, Ben Reid with 22, while their best players were Reid, Anka and South African import Tabang Degali. OHA started the season under immense pressure, with new coach Nick Leslie taking over after the phenomenally successful reign of Daniel Sproul and the retirements of legends David Woolford, Aaron Williams and Toby West, adding to the cavalcade of superstars who had retired in previous seasons. All expectations were that the Ships would sink and struggle to make the top 4, despite being triple defending premiers. And that is kind of how it went for the early rounds, until round 7, from where they went on a brilliant 9-game winning streak, only ended when their round 16 match against Derwent was abandoned after Jackson Turner suffered a neck injury that catapulted them from 3rd to 1st, where they stayed for the remainder of the season. They went on to win their semi-final to advance directly through to the grand final, where they outlasted a tenacious University to win their 4th consecutive premiership. Where it went wrong? Well, it's hard to see any flaws in a season that delivers a premiership and just 3 losses, but Kurt Mackey's injury in round 14 threatened to derail them for a moment. He missed over a month, but the Ships took it in their stride. Where it went right was the coaching and on-field performance of Nick Leslie. It was his first season in charge and he had a long list of challenges to overcome, including everyone waiting for them to stumble and fall. That they didn't, and instead secured another premiership, is a massive credit to him and the club. For the 5th consecutive season, Sam McCambridge was OHA's and the competition's leading goal scorer with 25, plus 2 more on grand final day, while their best players were McCambridge, Mackey and James Thomas. Alright, now it's time to announce the winners of the saves and goals of the year. We posted up videos of 10 nominees in each of the men's and women's saves and goals of the year categories and put it to a popular vote, so the winners are as voted by you. Let's start with the men's save of the year. Equal 3rd place goes to Alex Beswick from Diamondbacks for this stunning stick save from round 8, and Dan Harper from Northwest Grads for this low down drag flick save from round 20. Just 2 votes ahead of those, in 2nd place was Jaden Pearson from University, with this strong stick save off a drag flick from round 18. But taking out the 2018 Premier League Men's Save of the Year with a whopping 70% of all votes cast is this effort from Henry Chambers from OHA, a lightning reflex stick save from a big tomahawk shot. An incredibly close vote in the Women's Save of the Year, triggering a recount to make sure, with 3rd place going to Nan Thomas from Diamondbacks for this brilliant diving save in round 11, almost unsighted, getting a glove to it and just tipping it over. 2nd place was Nat Fay from Derwent with this superb stick save low down and to the right from round 19. But earning the 2018 Premier League Women's Save of the Year based on your votes was Emily Harvey from Northwest Grads with this wonderful reaction glove save and clearance on grand final day. To the goals of the year, and in the women's, coming in 3rd based on your votes was Nellie Painter from OHA for this great finish to cap off an end-to-end team golden goal in the semi-final. 2nd place went to Molly Lewis from University for this predatory offensive intercept turned into a big-time goal in round 7. And taking out the 2018 Premier League Women's Goal of the Year with a very healthy margin as voted by you is Gemma Kenworthy from Canterbury with this pinpoint rocket of a drag flick into the side of the net from round 17. In the men's, coming in third is Lewis Short from Diamondbacks, with a strong solo run and an unbelievably sweet upright reverse stick strike into the roof of the net from round 4. Second place goes to Torren Bester from Derwent for this mazy solo run through the circle and inspirational finish from round 3. But taking out the 2018 Premier League Men's Goal of the Year in a close contest as voted by you is Alex Hogan-Jones from Canterbury for this incredible head-high reflex deflection from round 14. Congratulations to all the winners and thanks to everyone who voted. Now, for the main event, it's time to announce the 2018 Premier League All-Star Teams and Players of the Year. The Association Awards are based on umpires' votes across all rounds of the competition, and recognition here is not intended to detract from those awards at all. The All-Star Awards are just another way to recognise players who have had outstanding seasons. Having said that, I only get to see 10 games from each league during the season. But in each of those games, every player is given a match rating between 1 and 10 based on their performance, and then those ratings are averaged out to find a player's seasonal average rating. The Team of the Week, posted every week during the regular season, is a separate recognition and has no bearing on the Team of the Year. Like last season, eligibility was based on whether a player had played at least 7 out of the 10 matches Premier League hockey filmed. That does, unfortunately, leave some players such as Kurt Mackey, Sophia Viarengo, Lewis Short, Camille O'Connor, Daniel Harper and Sarah Robinson all ineligible for All-Star honours this season. But I encourage everyone to have a healthy debate all throughout the off-season over the merits of that system. The 2018 Women's Premier League All-Star Team of the Year is: on the bench, Rayleigh Phillips from Northwest Grads, an impressive season from the young defender. Emily Diven from Northwest Grads, a strong return to form for the veteran forward. Sarah McCambridge from OHA, instrumental in the midfield during the ship's fairy tale run. Jean Flanagan from OHA, steered the ships from defence and continues to improve. And goalkeeper Evelyn Dalton from OHA. Her first full year in the OHA net was exceptional for a young keeper. The starting 11 is: up forward, from Derwent, Molly Hayes. She makes the team for the second time as the equal second highest goal scorer in the competition with 10 goals. She settled in at the strikers and provided a strong focal point for their young attack. From Northwest Grads, Ash Arthur takes her spot leading the attack for the second year in a row. Arthur was again, for the third consecutive season, the competition leading goal scorer with 15 goals. Also from Northwest Grads, in the midfield, is Grace Calvert, a brilliant signing for the Bulldogs, and her first season in blue brought a premiership, 10 goals, the player of the final medal and an average rating of 6.11. In defence, from Derwent, Jessica Tremaine, an even better season from the veteran than her All-Star year last year, leading a young side to a preliminary final while having a big impact on the pitch and earning an average rating of 6.14. In goals, and thus the 2018 Women's Goalkeeper of the Year, is Nan Thomas from Diamondbacks. She made the move over from Derwent last year and had an immediate impact, collecting a seriously impressive highlights reel of saves along the way. Completing the forwards, from University, Maddie Hinton. Explosive speed and some brilliant finishing. Despite only scoring 3 goals, she also created many goals and chances for her teammates while proving a menace to opposition defenders, earning an average rating of 6. In the midfield, making the team for the second time, from Diamondbacks, is Phillida Bridley. Struggled early with the extra pressure and responsibility placed on her young shoulders, but very quickly started to dominate games and influence results from the midfield, scoring 3 goals and earning an average rating of 6.22. Joining her in the midfield, also from Diamondbacks, is Emily Donovan. Was on track to easily win Player of the Year after a brilliant first half of the season, before injury made her miss a few games and hampered her impact late. Still, she scored 2 goals and earned an impressive average rating of 6.43. Completing the midfield, after a brilliant return to the Premier League from OHA, Sophie McLeod. Helped transform OHA from wooden spooners to grand finalists with her dominant midfield presence and leadership, also scoring 9 goals and earning an average rating of 6.22. In defence, and earning the All-Star Captain's armband, for the second season in a row is Diamondbacks star Nicole Jeeves. Another wonderful year for the legendary defender, led Diamondbacks through some troubled times into another top 4 finish, scoring 6 goals along the way and earning an average rating of 6.11. And to complete the team, leading the defence, and also the 2018 Premier League All-Star Player of the Year, is Louisa Jacobson from Northwest Grads. Backing up her association best and fairest win, Jacobson had yet another outstanding season, almost unstoppable rebounding out of defence. She also led a young defensive group who conceded just 9 goals for the regular season, took her team to a 3rd consecutive premiership, and earned the highest average rating of 6.5. The 2018 Men's Premier League All-Star Team of the Year is, on the bench, Jai Walker-Kidd from Northwest Grads. Makes the team again with his 23 goals undeniable. Alistair White from Northwest Grads. A great season from the midfielder that included 6 goals. Nick Leslie from OHA. The association joint best and fairest winner had another fantastic season in the midfield. Tom Broadby from Derwin. The young defender made the most of his fresh start at a new club with an impressive season. It wasn't a good year for goalkeepers, but making it to the All-Star bench is Jaden Pearson from University. Some horror performances were balanced out by some absolute blinders, but an inconsistent year all the same. The starting 11 is, as I said, not a good year for goalkeepers, but that shouldn't diminish the achievements of the 2018 All-Star Goalkeeper of the Year in his first season in the Premier League, with some very impressive saves in his highlights reel. From OHA, Henry Chambers. The young keeper stepped into some big kickers and helped his side to another premiership. In the midfield, for his second time, is Diamondbacks young star Hayden Belts. Came back from a serious facial injury but didn't miss a stride, scoring 7 goals for a team that struggled and earned an average rating of 6. Joining him in the midfield, making his first appearance in the All-Stars, is OHA emerging star Oliver Smith, who really broke out this year to take his team all the way to another premiership, earning the Player of the Final medal again in the process. 8 goals and an average rating of 6. Sitting behind them in the midfield, from Canterbury, is Ian McHugh, an exceptional season from the Lions veteran. Seemed reinvigorated by the developing young players around him, made some incredible saves on the goal line and earned an average rating of 6.1. In defence, making the team for the second time, is University linchpin Ben Reid. Took his team all the way to the grand final and almost willed them over the line for an upset. Makes big plays, scores big goals and leads from the front. 22 goals altogether and an average rating of 5.8. Leading the forwards for another year is OHA superstar Sam McCambridge. 25 goals, and an additional 2 more in the grand final. A 6th competition-leading goalscorer award, the legendary striker showed them all how it was done yet again, also earning an average rating of 6.1. Alongside him, up forward, is Sam McCulloch from Canterbury. The young Lions star was the other joint recipient of the Association Best and Fairest Award and had an impressive season, scoring 17 goals and earning an average rating of 6.25. Completing the All-Star strike force, a player who was in the running for Player of the Year at stages and finally put together a consistent season. From Northwest grads, Oliver Arnold. The experienced striker was absolutely brilliant and showed everyone what he was truly capable of, scoring 18 goals and earning an average rating of 6.3. In the final midfield spot, again, someone who was able to stay injury-free and put together a consistent season, also from Northwest grads, James Burke. At times, he threatened to absolutely tear the competition apart with his rebounding and linking runs and incisive passing. He earned an average rating of 6.22. Taking the captain's armband and making his first appearance in the All-Star team, a player who completely transformed himself from 2017, from OHA, James Thomas. He was a revelation, leading the Ships to another premiership with some massive intercepts and tackles, laser precise long passing along the ground or through the air, and 20 goals with an average rating of 6.5. To complete the team, the defence, and winning the 2018 Premier League Men's Player of the Year is Travis Creswell from Derwent. You might be initially surprised, but Creswell had a phenomenal return to the Premier League and was instrumental in Derwent's resurgence as a premiership contender. He didn't have a single bad game, while also week to week being heavily involved in some massive plays for the strikers, either setting up goals or scoring them himself, making some big tackles or some truly unbelievable and precise passes. Creswell had an outstanding year and earned this recognition with the highest average rating of 6.63. So, those are your Premier League All-Star Teams of the Year for 2018. Congratulations to all the players selected, especially Louisa Jacobson and Travis Creswell for earning the Player of the Year honours for being the top rated players in the league. This concludes our coverage of the 2018 Premier League hockey season. I genuinely hope you've enjoyed everything we've offered this year and that we've been able to somehow supplement your matchday experience and enjoyment. My sincere thanks to all of you for watching, liking, sharing, and all the kind words you've had to say to me throughout the year, as well as thanks to Damien Smith, Adam Clifford, Vanessa McDonald, Tim Stevens, Bob Gregory, and everyone else who helped out and supported this project, and all the players, coaches, and umpires for making themselves available for interviews or allowing me access on match day. I hope we can continue again in 2019 and make the coverage even bigger and better.